Hello everybody. Hey, I got a little burned out working on the mini house, so I thought I'd switch gears here for a little while and start doing something for the bus again. I'm going to go ahead and take that Murphy bed out of it, and I'm going to build me a cabinetry in there, and I'm going to put in a wood stove. But before I even start on that, I need to build the wood stove because I don't want to have to go buy a cubic mini. They're kind of expensive, and I just don't see the value in it being that expensive. So I'm going to build my own, and I'm going to do it out of a tank. Let me show you what I'm going to do here. Okay, so this is my air tank here, and I thought I'd build an upright stove here. First of all, this thing is about, let's see, it's 17 inches tall, and it's about 10 inches around. Yeah, it's about 10 inches around. So my plan was maybe I would cut the top of it off here and put a flat 10 by 10 square top on it here, 10 inch by 10 inch. And I'd come off the back here, right here with a pipe, then come up, probably a 3-inch. And that would make a good cook surface here. It would keep the pipe out of my way back here. And yeah, it'd have a nice little flat cook surface up there. And I'll use this where this used to have a pipe going in it right here. It was a storage air tank for emergency uses. But anyway, I took that out, and I think I'll use that hole right there as an air vent. And so this is going to shorten this about 2.5 inches, but that will make a real good base for the stove. I'll set it down under the stove, and I'll use this 4-inch pipe here. It's got the flared in there, which is a little bit wider. I'll cut about 4.5 inches off of that, and I'll put it on the bottom of the stove, which will raise the stove up. And then this piece here will be the pipe would sit on that, and it's going to make for a little stand for it. And I think it's interesting. I've collected up junk I could find in the shop, things that I might need for doing this project. And I got a welding shop next door, so I'm probably going to go ahead and just go over there and get me a couple pieces of plate steel. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and I'll take you guys along. Well, guys, it's the next day, and I got so engrossed in trying to get the paint off of this thing and stuff. It was kind of boring stuff I was doing. I was grinding it all off and getting it where it's bare metal. But I forgot to film anything. I was just got in all engrossed in it. And I started kind of tacking some pieces together, and I cut the door in it, and I cut the top off of it. And I'm going to show you what I've got going on here. Give you a little bit of an idea of what it's going to look like before I start seriously welding this thing together. I've been having a lot of trouble with my welder. It's just I do just a little teeny bit, and then it the tip plugs up, or something's going wrong with the fan and the welder itself. I'm just having a hard time, so things aren't going real smooth yet. But I'll show you what I've got going on. There's my old Miller welder. That's when I had one of them that I had in the body shop, and it's had a lot of use. And it's kind of worn out, so that's why I'm having a hard time with it. It's old Miller XP 130, I believe it's called, or 130 XP. So I kind of just cut the top off of this, and I took that top, that rounded top it had on it, and I made this base down here with it. And I tack welded on some tabs here so it can be bolted down when it's in the bus. And I got some 1/8 inch plate here, and I rounded the edges off a little bit on the front because I didn't want these sharp corners. And you can see down there where I ignore the yellow spot, that's just a little bit of paint, but I cut a hole in the bottom of it there, and there's going to be a grate that goes right down in here, this circular grate. I think I have it around here someplace. Yeah, right here. I'm going to modify it a little bit more. I've got to put a couple more bars across it. but that's going to be the grate that goes down there in that circular area, and that's what I'll build my fire on. And all the ash and stuff from the fire will drop through into this cup I have down here. And the cup is going to also have a plate there, so I'll have to open that up. Then all the ashes will drop down into this cup, which I can go ahead and empty real easily, make stove cleaning easy. So this is just sat on here right now, so I'm going to take it off. Well, I've got the door cut out too, and I got the hinge tack welded. Now I have to come in here and I have to clean these corners up, because I didn't want to make it completely free. I wanted to weld that hinge, then cut the rest of the opening out, so that way the door will fit perfectly. So I'm just going to leave that there. There's the hole I cut in it. So this is the cup assembly. This is the base. This is right here is where it's going to be welded to the actual body right here. Just from this seam here around to this seam. And this front piece here will actually open up like this, and this is going to have a bottom welded into it right here, and this will be able to pull it out, dump the ash out of it, put it back in here, and close this back up again, see? And that'll be the base of the stove. So that's what I've got going on right now. I'm going to make this into an air vent. And I still need to, like I said, finish off this door, finish cutting it out, and then I got to put a latching handle on it. And then all this stuff has to be welded solid. I put one of those hinges here. What that is a house hinge that I cut the screw holes out of it, shortened it up a little bit, and just tack welded it on there. And the reason this one pipe here fits inside this one is the outside is a 4-inch diesel pipe, but it had a flare on it where it would slide into another pipe. Well, I cut that flare part off, used it for the outer, and I used the regular pipe that wasn't flared on the inner, so it fits right inside of it. Makes a really nice tight fit. Everything works out good. And that's where I'm at right now. So I need to get my welder fixed up so I can finish up this little project here. I'm having a really hard time with the tip here. It's all monkeyed up. I bought some new tips years ago and never opened the package, and I just opened the package into the wrong one. So it's just one thing after another. So, but I'll get it. I always do. So I'll come back with you when I get a little bit more done here. I hope you like what I've done. It looks pretty good, I think. And it's a little bit different idea. All right, we'll talk to you in a little bit. Well, guys, I got the welder to work finally. I had to go down and buy some new tips over there at Harbor Freight, and I got a tip cleaner and a few other things, and got me some good welding gloves because my other ones had cloth backs on them, and that just wasn't working very good. I've also discovered something else. I am not the welder I used to be. I haven't welded for probably 20 to 23 years, somewhere around there, and no good. I'll show you what I've got done. Okay, here it is. I've got the hinges welded on here, and I haven't actually cut the rest of the door out yet, so I can't open that for you. But I trimmed out the bottom here, and I've got this to where it works. And I found a piece of steel for the bottom of this. This is the little ash tray that goes in the bottom of it, and I cut it out of an old piece of a sand collector that I had. It came out of a blast cabinet. So, of course, the center hole I had to weld back up. But anyway, that's what it looks like. There's the where the grate's going to be up inside the, and I got to put a door on that too. So when it's running, the door's closed, and the ashtray goes in there, and this closes up just like I showed you guys. And Yeah, I've got the top tacked on, see? I don't quite have it all welded yet, I just have it tacked on. I started getting a little better with the welder after a while, but I would start welding where it shows the most right at the beginning, where I didn't get any practice. I just picked it up and started using it again. And I got a little off on the back too. Weld's got a little wild over here. But it is what it is. I'll clean it up with a grinder and maybe I'll touch it up a little bit more. And I've got the top rounded on the front. And it's level. Table's level because that's my cabinet building table. It's all leveled out. So I'm thinking I was going to put a exhaust on this that came out the back here at an L and then come up, but I decided to go with a 2.5-inch exhaust pipe, and I'm going to be putting it here, and that's still going to leave me a pretty good room on the top. Yeah, I think that's probably better. I don't want to have any draw issues with the L. I don't know if that will cause me a problem. I'm thinking straight down in would probably be the best way for me to do this. So I guess next I'm going to go ahead and cut this door out, finish up all my welds, and I got to build me a handle over here, and I got to build the air intake, a little plate I'm going to put in there for opening and closing the air intake here. And I've also got to build that plate for the hole under here. And I can also use that for a dampener if this one doesn't work really well. I could pull that open just slightly, that little, the cover, because see there's a gap between it there. And I'm going to build me a plate that goes up in there, and I can swing it out a little bit, maybe swing this door open a little bit. It'll pull air through there if it has to. I don't know. It's all in the works. We'll see. We'll see how good it burns, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to go to bed. Well, good morning, everybody. I worked on this a little bit more, and I've got the door cut out on it, and I added a little, just a little lip here to keep the ashes from falling directly out onto the cabinet. I put a little handle on here. I welded a nut here. This slips through the nut onto, it was a nut larger than the thread size, and I put an inner nut on here and welded it. So that keeps it nice and tight here. I put a little slot for this to fit in. And I decided not to use that round grate, and I ended up making one out of a piece of an old expanded metal. And this hole under here in there is going to stay. I'm not going to put a plate over that, at least not yet. I'm going to then down here I put a plate on here, see that filled that area, so when you close this up it's pretty much airtight. I did a little bit more welding in there, not very pretty, but it doesn't have to be in there. So that's the ash tray, and when you pull this shut now, see it completely seals up. That's one of the reasons I'm not putting the door down inside there on that hole in the bottom. And also I could use this for a little bit of dampening. See, if I open that up, see how that little gap opens up there? I can dampen the stove with that. So, I got the hole cut and the pipe put on, and it's 2.5-inch exhaust pipe inside diameter. So the next pipe will slide down inside here like this, and that'll keep any creosote or anything from running on the outside of the pipe, because it'll be going down inside. I mean, there was arguments going both ways. You can put it on the outside because the smoke is coming up through, and it would draw up past the edge. and not get any smoke coming from here and out. But I think it's going to be a tight enough fit that putting it on the inside would be the best way to do it. It'll keep any water intrusion or any creosote from pulling around the outside edge here. So that seems to be the more normal way of doing things. But, you know, I may get an argument over that. I cleaned up my welds. I finished them all under here. I cleaned up down here a little bit. I'm still going to have to put a couple fillers right in here before I paint it. I bought some DeRusto high heat paint, 1200 degree paint in flat black, so I'm going to end up doing it in that. But the next thing I'm going to do, since I have it out here, is I'm going to go ahead and load it up and fire it up, and I'll be back with you as soon as I do that. All right, we got the wood kindling in there, and I'm going to go ahead and just light this little wax tumbleweed igniter I have in here, and we'll let that take off. I'm not going to close it yet. I'll let that get going. It looks like it's getting okay draw. Maybe if I open this up, it'll pull air in a little better. It's not smoking out the door yet. It's pulling up pretty high. Up here. I think I'm going to get some little strips and weld it to the door here. Just little popsicle stick wide strips, and just go around this door. I'm not happy with that fire, being able to see it like that. It's not smoking. I'm going to slow this down a little. Close that up, see if that works. It's still pulling air from right here. It's pulling enough air around the door that this doesn't even matter if it's closed. I still may put a little damper valve there of some sort. I wish I had a temperature sensor so I could tell you what the temperature is on this, but we'll worry about that in a little while. Well, I'm going to let this burn for a little bit and I'll come back with you, okay? I'm going to get some larger wood in there and see how much heat this puts out. Okay guys, it's been burning for about 10 minutes. You can see that the steel's turning kind of a blue color, gotten darker. You can compare it to the bottom down there, see? And it doesn't glow red or anything. I've had a full load of wood in here for a little while, and I noticed that every once in a while I'll get a little wisp of smoke come out of this thing, and it may be that the chimney isn't long enough to get a proper draw, but I'm thinking that this chimney is 2.5 inch. I think I'm going to have to go to a little bit larger chimney size. I've got a 3-inch hole in the bottom down here where the air comes up through. If I watch when I pull this door open here, see, this will give it a little bit of air. See the space between the cup and the bottom of the stove? And when it does that, you can see the smoke coming out. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it wisps smoke out. And I think it's not drawing hard enough here for the amount of air that can get into it. Now if I keep this closed, See, like that, it seems to do okay. And until, watch what happens when I open the door. You see that? See that? Close the door and it seems to be fine. See, there's no fire escaping or anything. So I'm thinking what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to weld those little pieces of metal around the door to work as a lap. So if I weld it to the outside of the door, it'll be flush with the stove itself. I got to watch, make sure I don't poke my finger against there. And I opened the door a minute ago, and when I had a whole bunch of kindling in there, and I about Jay Leno'd myself with the fire. I mean, the darn fire shot way out. So that kind of makes me nervous. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this pipe off. I'm going to put a larger pipe on here and a larger diameter of exhaust pipe. Yeah, seal up this door and I think it'll be okay. And that's going to have to be another experiment here. But right now there's a full load in there, and it's been burning in there for a while. And let me get that closed. There we go. Yeah, but it's not glowing red, and it's not getting red here anywhere. Of course, I've got no way of really damping it down hard, because it's always going to have that air coming in around the door and that little hole there. And I get this door sealed up. I'm going to figure out a way of dampening that hole, and I might even just weld it shut and just use this for the damper right here. See, and to let I can seal that down to where it's just real small, or I can open it up where it's large. So yeah, I might just use that for the damper. But it doesn't look like I'm done yet. I've got a little bit more welding to do, a little more experimentation. So I think I'm going to go ahead and upload this part of it to you guys so you can see what I'm doing. And we'll have a further experiments on this when I get to working on it a little bit more. And I really didn't want to show all the building of the stove, because I mean, you can see guys welding and cutting on things all day long on the internet. Just type in mini wood stove and watch, you know, DIY. It's just didn't need another one out there for that. I just wanted to show you my idea mostly, and give you a good look at this one more time. And this was made out of a 5-gallon air tank, one of those portable air tanks. And it's not very heavy. It's about an 1/8 inch thick. All this is about an 1/8 inch thick steel. The ash pan's collecting a little bit of ash. I don't want to reach in there and grab it. Something else I noticed about this stove. The handles aren't getting hot. That handle, see? It's running full blast right now. The handle's not hot. Now this one here, you can touch it, but it's starting to get a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe use a pot holder in that maybe later. I'm going to let this run for a while and see how long it's going to go. It's 9 o'clock right now, and I'm going to see how long this fire will burn in it with a full load. I only have 2x4s in it, fir 2x4s, but I'm going to load it up, and we're going to do a little timing on it and see exactly how long it'll run. Well guys, that didn't take long. I decided to have a cup of tea. Time I went up and got the water in the teacup and got down here and put it on here. It only took about 6 or 7 minutes here to make me a cup of tea. That load is still going. The handle now is so hot that it's uncomfortable to touch. You can touch it, but it's uncomfortable. And the base is now warm enough that it is uncomfortable to touch. You can put your hand on it, but it's just not real comfortable. This handle's still okay right here, see? Yeah, I'm not hurt by this handle. But the bottom here is transferring heat through because it has that, you know, that hole in the bottom of the burn area under the grate. I'm gonna take this off of here. I'm gonna sit it over here for a minute. Let's see, I don't have a good spot to put it. I'll just sit it right here. Okay. Anyway, it still has that full load in there. It's going strong. It's been about 15 minutes. Nothing's glowing red. No cherry red spots in it. It's giving off really nice heat. Really good. It feels nice. Feels good to stand in front of it. It's a cold morning. It's probably about 38 degrees here this morning. Not very cold, but it's cold here for the coast. The sun finally came out, and the frost on the roof over there is finally melted off. But this sure feels good. All right, guys, it burned for about 2.5 hours. You know, that includes the time that it just had coals on the bottom of it. And it's out now. And you see down there, the grate's completely empty. There's just a little bit of debris around it. And my my cup system worked pretty good. See, there's all the ash for it right there. I'm pretty happy the way that worked out. Really not happy with as much smoke that puffs out of this when you open the door. And I tried putting an extension of pipe on it, another 2 foot of pipe, so it's got 4 feet of pipe on it right now, and that seemed to help quite a bit. I think that by the time I get the other section on there, it's probably going to have another 2 foot when it's in the bus. I think that would probably pretty much fix the problem. That and not opening the door when it's on, you know, fully stocked inside. Let it burn down first, then open the door, and it seems to work. And it doesn't seem to puff as much smoke. But I think it's going to work just fine. The top got extremely warm, and it didn't get red. The little stove holds its heat really well and doesn't get too hot. Even when it was fully stocked, it didn't glow red. So, and I think that's because I got a 2.5-inch exhaust pipe on here right now, and I think that it restricts a certain amount of the flow coming through the stove, and therefore it can't roar so much that it can get beet red. And that's a good safety factor, I think. Yeah, you close the door and it just runs like it's already pre-regulated, where you really don't have to adjust much. So if I do want a little more air, I just, like I showed you, I just pull that open for a few minutes, then I pull it shut. But I can't have that open and open this door at the same time, because if I do, the flames will try to lick out the outside of it. But if that's closed, it won't do that. It'll just, maybe just when you first open it, it'll just a little puff of smoke comes out of it. And I don't like that, but there's nothing I really can do about it. And like I said, that exhaust, the exhaust piping, being a little bit taller really helped that out. And I think when we get that last piece on, we should be in okay shape. I'm going to go ahead and I got this 3/4 inch flat bar. It's 1/8 inch thick, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this around this door like this on the outside of the door, and that's going to seal up that crack right there around the door, and that should do wonders too. And it'll make me feel better about it. I didn't like being able to see the fire through the crack of the door, so I'm going to get that done and get this painted, and we'll do another test fire later. Pretty happy with it right now, about 90% happy with it. There's a couple of things that are bugging me still, so I'm going to fix this thing up, get it painted, we'll fire it up one more time, and I think that'll be good. Good morning, everybody. I'm back in the workshop again with a little wood stove, and we're going to go ahead and modify the door a little bit. I'm going to put a little edging around it and touch up a couple of my welds, and I think I'm going to go ahead and get it painted up today. Then I'm going to take it back out and I'm going to test fire it one more time, get that paint baked on real good, and I'm going to clean up some of my welds too. I'm going to, polish them up a little bit so they look a little bit better. So I'm going to get at it here. Look at the mess I've made here. I am a disaster. There's the sandbags where I had it laid on its side when I was, using this on it to get all the paint off of it. That's a flapper disc. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this here. I'm going to cut it and bend it to make it go around this and fill this gap here. I think that'll help out a little bit. And I think I'm going to put a bolt right here and put a little plate on this that swivels on that bolt where I can open that and close it. I think that should do a good job on it. So I'm going to get busy doing that. I'll take you along, show you what I'm doing, and let's just go from there. Well, I got the door edges all welded on. It's looking pretty good. I'm out here sanding it right now with some 80 grit on my DeWalt sander. You can see that this side right here, smoothing it out pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. I've done the top already, and then I'm going to shoot the paint on it. I just have some Woodstove high heat paint for barbecues and wood stoves, and that's all Home Depot had, so yeah, I think this is going to be all right. I've developed a dampener, inline dampener for the pipe. I've got it made, but I haven't put it in one of the pipes yet. So if I need to do that, I have that. I decided not to put a dampener on that because it's such a small opening. I don't think it's going to matter much. And sealing up these doors here, I may need that a little bit. It ran so evenly temperatured last time we did this, so it didn't get really super hot. So this is what I did on this. Let me open this up so you can see it. What I did is I drilled holes, 1/4 inch holes throughout the edge of this. Then I bent the piece of metal here, set it on the outside and welded it from the inside. That way, let me get this closed again. That way it was nice and smooth on the outside. There wasn't any welds to finish or anything. So, there she is. I'm going to sand it up and we're going to get painting on it. Okay guys, I got it painted up. It's amazing how much cleaner it makes it. We're going to do a test fire tonight. I gotta let this dry for a couple hours and we'll do a nice little test fire and we'll see how this does. Okay, a little fire in it. It's been about a couple hours since I painted it. See, it still smokes when you open the door. So I guess what you do is you get the fire started and let it burn down a little bit here. It's smoking too because I have this cracked open too. I'm going to close that up. There. How you doing?
You're breaking it in?
That fixed the problem with the air gap around the stove there anyway. Kind of make it look a little better too. It looks a little more finished. I've got the dampener closed on the bottom, and I've let it burn for about 10 minutes. Let's see what it's doing now. Well, that isn't bad, see? We don't have flames or smoke coming out of it anymore. I think this is going to work. I just need to keep it closed until it burns down a little bit. So I think I'm going to call this a success. At least about a 90% success anyway. It's burning clean. There's no smoke coming out of it. It's burning really hot. This is really, really nice. It'll boil water in about 6 or 7 minutes. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this. It's going to go in the bus. I'm going to pull that Murphy bed out and build me a spot for this and some cabinetry. And I'm going to change things up a little bit in the bus. I've got another one of these tanks. It's about, I guess it's probably a 8-gallon. This is a 5-gallon. This was made from a 5-gallon tank, but I got a 8-gallon tank that was the same brand and everything as this one. I might just make me another stove and put it in the mini house. I think that'd be nice. So I guess I'll just load this up as part of the one of the bus videos. So if you guys are, yeah, I'll do that. I don't need it on the mini house video collection. So all right. Well, guys, that was kind of a little quick, easy video there. And if you have any questions about this stove, just give me a comment and I'll answer it. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.